Hi, this is Francis from A+ Tutoring. In this session, I'm going to solve the question number 3b in the past final exam number 1. Evaluate this following improper integral. Now, if you look at this improper integral, 0 and 2, they are not the value that is making this integral improper. It's the value that is in between them, which is 1. Why do I say that? Because I just need to take the denominator and make it equal to 0 to find the restriction. And that will be the value of improper integral. Now, if I have something like this, I cube it on both sides and I get something like this, and x must be equal to 1. So the value 1 is the improper value. So my integral is becoming 0 to 1. And the function, I'm going to write it into the exponential form like this. So that is easier to integrate. From 1 to 2, 1 over 1 minus x to the power of 1/3 dx. Now, since 1 is the value that is improper, I have to use limit. Limit of b approaching to 1 minus, because the value 1 exactly cannot be used in this function because it's the restriction, right? So I have to use 1 minus. So it's going to be 0 to b of this function here, plus limit of a approaching to 1 plus here now. So from a to 2. 1 over 1 minus x to the 1/3 dx. Now all I have to do is to evaluate this integral first. Now if I just evaluate this integral, so I have integral 1 over 1 minus x to the power of 1/3. So this is, I can think of none of the method except that I have to substitute before I do something else. So if I substitute u as 1 minus x, what is my du? My du is going to be minus dx. So I know that my minus du is equal to plus dx. Alright, so if I replace this, this integral is becoming 1 over u to the 1/3 minus du, right? And then I can factor the minus sign in front, integral of u to the minus 1/3 du. And this is going to become minus, right, u to the 2/3 over 2/3 plus c. Because it's indefinite integral, I have to write a plus c here. But when I plug it back into the question there, I can drop the plus c. Okay, so if we write this as minus 3/2 u, which is 1 minus x, so 1 minus x to the power of 2/3 plus c. Now plug back in to the limits, right? I have limit of b approaching to 1 minus, and then minus 3 over 2, 1 minus x 2/3 from 0 to b, plus limit of a approaching to 1 plus minus 3 over 2, which is the same function here, right? Because it's the same integral. So I have from a to 2. Okay, now I just need to plug in the value b and 0 and 2 and 8. So let me do that on the next page here. So if I have limit of b approaching to 1 minus, minus 3 over 2, 1 minus b to the power of 2/3, subtract, plug in the value 0. So subtract 3/2, so it becomes plus 3/2, 1 minus 0, 2/3. And then I have to add my second part, limit of a approaching to 1 plus. Basically, it's the same thing here, except that the first value here is going to be 2, 2/3 plus, well, it's a minus, so it becomes a plus 3/2, 1 minus a to the 2/3. Now, if you look at this, what can be simplified, right? 1 minus 1 here, this term is going to be 0. Same thing as 1 minus a here. This is going to be 0, right? Both of them approaching to 0, so I will just say that as 0. Now, if you evaluate this value here, this is 3/2, right? 1 to the power of 2/3 is 1. So all I have left really is 3/2, because now that I evaluate the limit, I don't need to write the limit anymore. So this term is 3/2 And this term here, 1 minus 2 is going to be minus 1, but a square and then cubic root, or that will give me 1. So I have minus 3 half. So minus 3 half. So this is minus 3 half here. So the answer here is going to be equals to 0. Okay. So for more information about improper integral, please visit my website goforaplus.com.